all of the most important things from 2016 and giving a recap of this wonderful year. So first, we would like to talk about Pokemon Go. So if you don't already know, Pokemon Go is a game launched where you basically have your world into a virtual reality game. So what this game does is you can basically catch these creatures they call Pokemon. So Harry, would you like to explain some negatives first?
So Pokemon Go is another app craze that the United States, or maybe even the world if it's open to the world, has. Pokemon Go is for all ages. Anyone whoever wants to use it can. It's not towards an age based, but this is the first now that's Pokemon's really like in right now, as it hasn't been since like Pokemon Go trading cards. Their intention was to get gamers out of the house and walk around, but there has been some, I'm going to share the negatives about this, injuries. People have been walking into stuff, falling off cliffs. I mean, it goes to a certain extent when you're looking at your phone trying to swipe up. So Kyle's going to share some positives.
So some positives about Pokemon Go are that it's gotten a lot of people out and exercising and into the real world, and they've done this by basically taking not the real world and getting people to come into it, and I find that like a very good thing that they've done. And also, obviously, they're making good profits. They can constantly update their game and bring more joy to people and have them get out more.
So I'm going to share one more thing about Pokemon Go. They were actually featured at Apple's 2016 keynote and talking about the app and how you can now use it on the Apple Watch, which I have. I don't play Pokemon Go, but I know Kyle's addicted to it.
No.
Next topic.
So next we want to talk about the election. So there are many positive and negative things about the election, depending on whose side you're on. We know that Donald Trump obviously won. Would you like to explain some positives?
So some positives about Donald Trump is that he's very different from the other candidates that we had in this election. He's much more outspoken. He outspeaks other people, and with the runner-up Hillary, it's very two different sides. Hillary is a woman, and if she won, she'd be the first female president of the United States, but she didn't, although there's a topic that we were talking about, mansplaining, and how Donald Trump winning the election can relate to mansplaining, how often he interrupts Hillary or another candidate in the election. Positives about this is lots of people in the South or in the middle of the United States voted for him, so the positive about that is they got a brand new president and Republican. So the last two presidents that we had were Democrat. I'll share some negatives.
Now I'll talk about negatives. So some things with Donald Trump is obviously they say that he interrupts a lot. He's very loud, and he's trying to get people from other countries out of our country and not exactly let people into our country. And a lot of people would say that that is not good. They think he's racist, even sexist, and he plans on building a wall to keep out Mexicans. So now we'll take a quick break. Nate, talking about Michael Phelps. You probably know him. He was a swimmer, and he is just won a record amount of gold medals from the Olympics. So do you want to talk about some positives about this?
So some positives about Michael Phelps winning the Olympics for the swimming is that he's a very good swimmer, known throughout the United States by everyone. He's been swimming for a long time, and he's actually really young. I believe he's in his late 20s, and actually people are saying that he might not swim in the next Olympics. He might retire, and for lots of sports careers, people who are in the sports industry do retire early.
Yeah, so now we'll talk about some negatives that Harry did not talk about. So he really shows working hard and that he's privileged to win all these gold medals, but for some people, maybe they cannot do this and cannot be as privileged as he can to be maybe this physical or that good that really want to achieve their dreams that cannot. And he really shows them that he obviously has the record, and it can make other people feel maybe not as good if they can't do something as great as he can. So now we'll talk about the new phone by Google Pixel. Do you want to start off explaining what it is?
So Google came out with a new phone this year, and actually it's their first phone called the Pixel. It looks a lot like other Android phones, but since Google has the biggest search engine, it's very easy for them to, make a phone because they have so much technology and so much money. The two guys who actually founded Google were Jewish, and Kyle's going to share some negatives about it.
So some negatives about this phone is that obviously it does bring another whole side of the phone company and industry to the mix. So really, you have Apple and Android, obviously like some of the biggest. So now there's a whole competition. There might be some problems with like suing because they take some of the same ideas, some things like this, and there'll probably be money issues and things like that. Do you want to talk about positives?
So positives about the phone is people love choices about what phone. People have a choice of Apple, Android, Moto, many choices about their phones, and it's so HTC customizable now. It's just a bit more intense than like a simple flip phone that's silver. Now you can customize it, and I think people really love the new option of having a Google phone. You can obviously download the Google app on your Apple phone as a thing, but this is Google's phone. Their brand new phone, it is flagship, so it does cost a lot, and I think the design is absolutely good for a Google phone, especially their first phone.
Also, the camera is very good, and they bring a VR experience, obviously, to this, which is like the goggles you put on, you put your phone in, and it can have, so like it projects a screen onto you. So they obviously have that nice feature. It runs smoothly, and I can't wait to see what it does. So those were the main important things from 2016, and have a great set of 2017.
Thank you, we're Kyle and Harry.